Okay, so you didn't think you were going to get a video from me today? Think again. It's your boy L to the B. I have a video for you today. This is just another thank you. We're just kickstarting, making sure our consistency is good every single day. Post a video, post a video, post a video. Are we happy? Are we grateful? Or how's our vibe state? Listen, I have been dumping my fingers in the not so good behavioral end of stuff. However, don't judge me quickly yet, okay? I've also been like extremely productive in accomplishing a lot of the things that I've got on this daunting list. I mean, let's be honest. The fact that we even develop a list is because we didn't handle the damn thing when we needed to. I just, when I say that, you know what I'm saying. It's not like, well, I had something going on at the time, and that's why I made the list. I mean, just because we got a list doesn't mean we couldn't handle it right then and there. Most of the time, it is exactly that. You needed to handle it then. You put it off. And then maybe it was just kind of circling around. Sometimes it circles around in your head, or you see it pop up like, oh, I need to take care of that. And is a stressor. It creates anxiety. Those two are like mother and father, husband and wife. Anxiety and stress, I think those two go along together very well. They're a really happy couple. Happy, unhappy couple. So I mean, you can see my energy is just like zoom, 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 zoom. But to be honest with you, it really even shouldn't be in this high energy state. I don't really know what's causing it. I do not know. All I know is that I am full throttle mentality, just like boom, 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 let's go. I have grandiose thoughts a little bit. It's almost borderlining on the, the was it the bipolar spectrum where you have depression and then you have hyper. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like hyper. It's not hypersensitivity, but grandiosity or whatever the fuck it is. It's kind of on that line of it. But I'm just moving with it, and I'm being very grateful with it. Being what's the word I'm looking for? I'm being mindful, but at the same time, I just told it to the word to my daughter the other day. I'm having some humility. Yes, I'm having some humility about it all. So give me an idea of what the bad behavior is. Yesterday, I of course got stoned all damn day. Well, after I got rid of some tasks, but then I just got lit. Didn't really care. Did a hoppy session. I put that away. I'm like, why am I doing this? It's just like the hoppy. It serves a purpose insofar that you want to continue to be in that state. So like I mean I'm not gonna knock anybody that's doing it, but I'm hoping that you've got more intentional based behaviors with it when you're doing it. For me, on the other hand, it started falling into this recreational category, and because of that reason, I've just stopped. Again, we'll see how long it goes, but I look at it, I entertain it, and just something that I'm sorry, I just don't like blowing up my nasal cavities and having breathing issues that affect my lungs and everything else. Your body is like a nice functioning system. It likes this, and this is in like the Indian text or something like this. Again, don't quote me on all of it. I think it's in pranayama meditation, but you're concentrating on what the cool air that's coming in when you breathe in, and then the hot air that you're expelling. So I think in that system, that continuum that's happening in that process with the cold air and the hot air out, there's something, if you disrupt the flow of that, I think you disrupt some of the chi. It's like that natural flow of in and out creates a lot of momentum in other ways in your life. The better you can breathe, probably the better you can do other tasks. It's just my opinion. So what else have I got for you to talk about? I'm still on this vitamin K2 and D3 thing. I don't really care so much about the D3. I think there's something that I probably can get the D3 or at least ways vitamin D in a lot of different ways, or I'm already got a good amount. There's something me questioning the D part, but the K2 for sure. I think there's something there. I think when I'm adding these dosages, like I didn't do one yet for today, and I probably won't have to do one all day. but I definitely did one last night. I did one in the morning yesterday. And whenever I do those, my energy levels like do a little dip. They calm down, like almost like I'm ready to take a nap. But you think about it, like if you've been outside and you're just having a great time and energies, you kind of want to take a rest sometimes when you have that beautiful sunshine on you. So I think that creates a hormonal effect in the body. I could be wrong, but I'm just sharing what I experience. So when I do it, I usually try to take it at night. I took one dose last night with some magnesium, sucrosomial, and I think that was it. And I had a nice little pass out. Still did my CBD pen for going to bed, but I slept well. I had great dreams. I can tell you, I've been having consecutively great experiences and dreams, and a lot of them have my mother in it. Last night was my mom and grandma, so those are always fun. Like I have my family with me, so I'm very grateful for that. Just to be able to get topped off in the dream is a great feeling. Gosh, I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can describe. Haven't smoked anything today, obviously. My brain and communication is just like boom, 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 boom. But that's probably the shocking factor. I never keep my brain capabilities in line like this after I've stopped smoking some herb. Like it takes me, I would say damn near 2 to 3 days before my brain starts actually functioning for some decently leveled conversation or communication. But not right now. It's working just fine. The other lady, the one lady I'm talking to, she got hit by a bicyclist. I guess I can say that. And anyways, the bicycle rider ran over her, knocked her over, and pushed her into some bushes or something. She got hurt. But here's the interesting thing. And if any of you guys understand what I'm getting ready to ask you, please chime in. Have any of you noticed that and I'm not one of the people that got it, but like, do people that get the jab, and you all know what the jab is, right? That got that thing in 2020 and beyond. Do you notice like some of them are unable, like they're having trouble with their memory? Like that's another big thing that I noticed that was different between the woman I have now and the one in the past, like I was talking with. Like her memory is a little bit quonky. Like she repeats some things to me and she'll say it again and she'll be like trying to remind, like, oh, that. I was like, you already told me about that. I already got that. Now, let's fast forward to this event. Why did I bring that up? I had to give you some context. With this bicyclist running over her, she sent me a message and she said, hey, did I already tell you about what happened with the bicycle rider running over me? And she didn't say today. She just said that part. So I was like, did this happen earlier in the week or like last week and I just forgot about it? Like I didn't know there's a lot of things that happen nowadays. So I said, no, you didn't. I don't remember anything like that. She goes, yeah, a bike rider ran over me today. And apparently I've been telling people like a couple times the same story. Like I told somebody once and then I turned around and contacted them again and told them again. Here's what I'm going to tell you people, okay? If you're not paying attention, I've looked at some crazy information yesterday and I'm just getting a little bit of light, hopefully to brighten up the mood. So I looked at some conspiracy theory information, something my buddy sent me yesterday, which is also something I want to kind of celebrate a little bit too. I got one of the things on my list checked off by contacting him and seeing how he's handling all these court matters. Now, if you don't know anything about my homeboy here, but he's a business partner of mine that has kind of gone off in the deep end of dealing with this sovereign citizenship, and he's having huge success. And if anybody doesn't know what that topic is, go look it up. Sovereign citizenship. That means your real inalienable rights to this land, your sovereignship that is already stripped from you when you get born and you get given a birth certificate. Throwing your name in all caps. Certifying yourself as not being certified here on this land. Basically, you get indoctrinated into a system or a corporation. Now, some of you conspiracy people or people that know conspiracy nuts already are aware of this. I've spoken to cops about it. That people that work in the legal system, they all can verify it is legit. And it's something where they don't even quite understand it themselves. They may project that they do, but they don't. But they just say it just causes a whole lot of trouble, and a lot of magistrates don't rather not deal with it. Why would a judge not want to deal with something on a legal matter? They deal with every other thing, and it's not like my point is, how does a judge just automatically say they don't want to deal with something or deal with something like they arbitrarily make up their mind whether they want to do their job or not? This I'm saying a whole lot today. My mind is just like boom, 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 boom. But this usurpation of power, like, I don't understand. And then it's positioned in such a way that, it's got complete autonomy. I don't understand that. It makes no sense to me. We allow too much, like our ancestors allowed way too much, but we can't complain about this. There was a cop I watched. I'm just shooting off from the hip. There was a cop I watched, deputy, that was speaking on how the way the nature of the country is, what we vote for, how it matters. Look, I've got so many conflicting, contrasting, contradicting views of what people say about this. Oh, you should vote. Guns matter. I got so many views. I can't wait to start shelling out some of this video content. I'm going to go get some alcohol later today, and it might be a spray session. But you see, I don't need any of these substances to even communicate. I can still dish out whatever I'm feeling in the moment, whatever was going on. I just like the alcohol just for the flavor of it. It switches up the vibe. And I'm doing this kind of also as a reward. And maybe I'll play some video games. Maybe I'll get into some VR, get into some VR discussions. Those are always the best for elevating your consciousness. I implore everyone to go there and do that. But anyways, what I was going to say is particular about this deputy. He's like telling people to go out and vote. Vote, vote, vote. And I'm like, yeah, vote for what? The system itself is fucked. Here's the thing. If it worked, it would work. The problem, that's why I don't like individuals sitting up there on their little freaking soapboxes. Gosh, I have to put myself in that category. I probably am a soapbox speaking motherfucker, right? But I don't particularly care for these individuals, and I wish somebody would call them out. If somebody call me out, I'm fine with that. Some of you people were like a little cautious about approaching me about the Tony Parsons thing. Some got challenged on me, but I already knew where I held my viewpoints on that. I've already been challenging myself from the angles that were presented to me. Some weren't. Some I hadn't considered. But again, after a little bit of just like assessing and analyzing, I'm like, nah, that doesn't play. So it's not like I'm right or wrong all the damn time. I'm just trying to say that if there's a better way for us to be correct, let's explore it. All of us. I'm just I'm sourcing my information. I think I made a video about this. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about sourcing what you know. That means proving what you know. Sourcing it out. Knowing that that's it to the most of its ability if you're happy with that intent. And if you find something that challenges it or alters it, and reasonably does, don't be afraid to make an alteration. Make an amendment. So, where am I going with this? I'm such a bounce-brained head today. With the voting system, it's a broken system. It's broken. It's like somebody giving you a computer and setting up all the programs on it for Apple when you decided you really wanted to have Microsoft. So, that's the whole issue that I'm having with the voting. It's not like I wouldn't vote if it didn't have a great outcome, if it didn't actually show. Like, no. Here's the problem with the voting. It can be manipulated. The minds of people that are voting, here's what the philosophy has given. Here's what the doctrine or whatever the culture of voting has presented to people. So, they say everyone has the right to vote based on their idiocy. So, what does that mean? Their ignorance and their whatever they do know, whatever their knowledge is, they can vote. So, all right. Who's allowed to vote? well, you have to be of age. Wait a minute. Did you just say you have to be a certain age to vote? So there is a threshold of some kind of perceptual awareness, intelligence, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that has to cross the line before it's reaching an approval rating of being able to vote. So this presupposes or assumes that there are basic legitimate requirements for us as a species or a human to grow in mental faculties in order to perform this task of voting. Now, why is that important? You would say, well, it's just like anyone. You wouldn't let a kid drive a car, would you? Or give him a loaded fire gun. That's the whole point I am making. Voting can't be as easy as people are making it out to be, in the sense that anyone's judgment call on this is okay, because people can have terrible judgment calls based on how much they know or how little they know on the ignorant level. And they're doing that, and they're making these uninformed or informed decisions on who they want to lead their reality or dreamality. Is that fair? Somebody says. And another person says, well, of course it's fair. How are we to be someone to decide for someone else's fate? If that person who is ignorant decides they want a dumbass leading them, whether it's in their benefit or not, it's their inalienable God-given rights. Okay, let's go with that. They don't know any better. They're picking how they feel. So be it. But I still haven't added the whole manipulation factor. So in between the voting, the process of finding out who's going to be voted, and up into that voting process, what's happening during that time? Well, every one of the electoral people, I don't even know. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. My brain is not the best at the moment, but it is still, I'm excited about the energy. I have vitality. Very excited about that. But the representatives or whoever is going to be nominated, the nominees, they have a chance to campaign. Well, what's involved in campaigns? Anything and everything. So you mean to tell me they may be able to say things that are not necessarily true? Absolutely. Doesn't matter. It's up to the other nominees to point that out. And then it's up to us to rebuttal. Like, come on. The system, and after a while, you start to find out, like even in my discussion talking, it gets more and more granular. And the more that you have to deal with and to interpret and to decide, and then it only really, and then you mean to tell me that you start stacking it? You have one main group that you want everyone to pick every time, but then you deceptively split it in half and say that they're in an opposite to one another? What? Do what? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, oh yeah, it does from our point of view. When we're trying to control the people, we need them to believe that they have some sense of control into making their decision. Well, what about the people that actually find out? They exploit you guys, and they know that you're one group. This Democrat and this Republican side is all just a can. It's all one damn thing. What do you mean? Well, when they find out, what do you think they're going to do? Well, a lot of times they just go ahead and pick one of the two of us anyways. They pick the lesser of the two evils, even if it's the same evil. Well, why would they do that? Because they're worried based off of what character or personality this one person's presenting against the other is going to be presenting, and they just try to pick off of who they think they like more. Who they like more? Yeah, it becomes a real spiritual decision, I think, in the end. What about all of these alternative, groups, these political groups? Like, Do they have any say? Well, there's an independence group. And they don't see a lot of success. What about the ones that are not independent? Who? We don't know who they are. He mentioned the other groups. Are there anyone? Do you feel like you have any competition that's going to undo what you've done in creating all of this deceptive, malicious, manipulative system that always comes back and benefits you and is in your hand at the end of the day? Do you think there's anything that's going to throw that off? Uproot it? No. So why the hell do you keep telling people, encouraging people to vote? Because it makes them feel something. They feel like they made the right decision no matter what because they voted. But it's cracked. Like, we're actually voting for you only. Like, it actually ain't even a vote at the end of the day. You take control of our ability to make decisions. You might cast a lot of different magic. You basically have brainwashed us to the point that we actually do not make a real vote. We're not making a real decision. Is that what's happening? Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, what are you going to do about it? I mean, we've got like years and years on like the CIA. We've been diagnosing, figuring out the human species mind forever, man. I mean, good luck to that. Good luck to you. There's nothing going to change. The system has been set up in a way for you to always be screwed. It is not in the public interest to have the public voting intelligently. So when they say, you guys ought to get out and vote, even if it's not on that party, you're voting for the alternative party. I vote to not have a voting system. I have casted my vote. Not voting is a vote. I do not support the voting system. When it changes and when this whole country decides that we need to do something about that, I'm on board. I don't care about these people up here sitting here jumping on the bandwagon of belittling other people because they want to make a decision to vote or not vote and pressuring their ass. Like, that's some fucking Christian ass bullshit. I'm telling it right now. You know damn well what I'm talking about when I talk about Christian ass bullshit. Not all the Christians have really kind, sweet ways. They have this guilt-driven, pressured religion guilt ways that make people feel like they need to do something in order to appease this fucking group. I don't care about that. And for those individuals that are like that, I feel sorry for you. That you have to sit there and carry the load of a group as your identity and don't have one by your own self. Like, that's scary, I get it. Because haven't been able to carve out your own individual personality. You got to ride the coattails of the philosophies of one. And that's okay. F it. I don't really want to judge you guys on that either. But please, dear God, do not cast your shadow of bullshit on everyone else. Learn to have some little bit of respect for other people's decisions. You don't have to do it. You don't have to feel uneasy or have anxiety about what people are deciding. Just hopefully you can decide for your own self. And don't get upset about what other people are doing. It's kind of hard to do that. I get it. But that's what I would encourage. I'm sorry, that's a big soapbox talk right there. Ow, on to some drama. I snapped off on my ex today. First ex. Oh, I tell you, there's something about that woman I just can't get with. From day one, I did not care about her energy. And it's like, how the fuck did I get into a 9-year relationship with her? Like, I don't understand this shit. I didn't like her at the beginning. But it doesn't matter. It happened. Can't change the past, people. You can't change the past. It's about changing the present. So, I was how do I, this story. So I'm checking with my kid. She hasn't commented about her ear. She's told me her ear's fine, all this kind of stuff. And then I'll reach up there like, how's your ear doing right now? Now, I did not put a lot of pressure here because just in case there was some problems, I'll know. And so when I did all that, I wanted to see what her reaction would be. So it was immediate like, oh my God, yeah, my ear hurts, And I'm like, I just went into a different dialogue with her. So the ex chimes in, she goes, well, obviously it hurts. She's moving. I was like, why are you going to make an assumption that she felt some pain? Well, because of her reaction. I was like, so you know what the pressure was that I took from my hand putting up there on her ear? She goes, but I was like, answer the question, yes or no. Since you're all wise and knowing, answer the question. Do you know what the pressure was that I put upon her ear? If you don't know, then don't say anything. It'd be nice just to keep your mouth quiet if you don't know something, right? I was like, bam, bam, bam. So I don't even really know if like this is the signal kind of coming out, if this is kind of maybe some leftover residue, because I've done a lot of tasks today. Making calls, mail, got my mind set up for other calls and conversations, going over to the business today to do some stuff there, dropping some information off. I mean, my brain's like, do. So I really don't have a lot of small talk for that kind of thing. I mean, I'm glad to make this video. But I was just like, bam, bam, bam. I was like, maybe you should just keep your mouth shut about something if you don't know it, right? And don't make an assumption. And she was like, she goes, oh, I'll say whatever the fuck I want. I was like, well, obviously, you just said the word fuck. So you have established that. Lack of control, maybe. I was just like, woo, woo, woo. Like, it was I don't know. It wasn't really even a snap. Because if you snap too much, let's say you get too much in a conversation and you get angry, you lose track of yourself. You lose your cool kind of thing. And obviously she did when she said, well, I'll say whatever the fuck I want. But she said this right in front of our kid, so it's like, I don't really care. My kid knows, like, I will say certain things because I need her to understand the context of my energy expression, not necessarily to her, maybe on a situation I'm dealing with. And otherwise, I don't like to cuss in front of my kid. It's just not a thing. So when she did that, and then I was like, I threw her down like that. I was like, hold on, you got some mail. So it was like, I just pivoted. But honestly, we used to get in arguments like this together in a relationship often, all stupid stuff. And it's like, it's always back and forth. And I told her, I was like, hey, so she's going to take some shoes, but I'm like, yeah, it's okay, take the shoes, make sure you bring those back. I want to have those back whenever they come back, if that's okay. She goes, well, I'll pick whatever shoes she wants to have. I was like, well, that's not okay, because maybe the shoes that she chooses to have come back is the ones that I don't want her to wear while she's with me, because she may not respond the same well when she's under my watch with those type of shoes. The fact that I have to spell this shit out, that is where my aggravation and venting is coming on this video at the end of it now. I'm like, it's exhausting. You have no idea. Maybe you people do. Maybe you have an idea. But to be in a relationship where you have to exhaustively explain all of the stupid dynamics to somebody so that they get where you're coming from, they can't put it together, but they gotta have your reasoning to make it like, fuck you kind of thing is what you want to say. Fuck you. I said what I wanted. I'm not explaining everything out to you because it's too exhausting of a conversation. If you want to know why your parents always said because I said so, it's because it was always exhausting for them to give you this full out explanation for why they didn't want you to do or do something. Have I said a lot today? Is it time for me to calm down? I'm getting to it. Don't worry. I feel like I've been running like a choo-choo train. I don't think the ex is going to be... And again, she's like, it's always little gaslighting jabs, man. I hate that word. I hate anything that talks about somebody else being negative. But it's there. It's a little description. And so if she comes into the house, she's like, I'm like, what's that? And she kind of have a stall moment, like she was like, oh, I'm about to be put on the stage. I'm like, Like, say what's on your mind, I didn't say that to her, but just look, waiting. It's like a cave in here. I didn't say nothing. But you see how she's already starting the whole little situation. But she don't give what she says, then she doesn't mind dealing with the consequences. That's kind of how I look at it. This is why I try to parent my kid the same way. I try to say, hey, if you don't really care about what it is that you're saying to everyone out here, you think you should be able to have free speech? I have a bone to pick about free speech too. It's totally fine to have all this magical stuff. The free speech is also a trick. So a free speech role is like, oh, we give ourselves freedoms to do all the necessary things that we can use this in ways that's going to benefit us because we said it's all good here. You can make free speech. But what you don't know is like the ones that already are the architects of that system can use it in ways that will again usurp power. I'm aware of this in my later ages, and I've been aware of it for like 10 plus years. But it's so in the face of so many people now. I feel like I want people to wake up a little bit quicker. Like people are sometimes a little bit too slow, but everyone's on their own path, their own journey. But yeah. And so my kid, my ex says to the kid, well, she says what she says. She's okay. She can say whatever she says. Wants to do whatever she wants to do. And I'm like, all right. She can say whatever she says, do whatever she wants to do. But what happens when somebody hits her over the back of her head with a 2x4? Like, whoa, man, why'd you go there with that, man? Physical abuse? Look, I don't know what other people are going to do. I don't know how people are going to react. That's the whole point I'm making. You have a point. You can do whatever you want in this reality. But there are consequences. Which is partly what I'm going to talk about on a different video. There are consequences for our actions. There are waves. They do different things in this space. Some of the things I say today are going to trigger somebody maybe watching. I don't know. So what are we trying to do when we parent? You think you should set some boundaries? Then you should help them to maybe get mindful of some of the things that they do because they may not like the reactions from other people. I didn't say responses. The responses may not be good either. But sometimes the reactions are the really killer because a reaction doesn't necessarily involve conscious thought. Somebody might just snap off. Like, you a little shithead. My kid likes to come in little frameworks like that. Like, you nasty. Like, she likes to give that little thing. She don't do it with me necessarily, but with her mom, she loves to get in that behavior. That's an ugly thing. Her mom just like, oh. Like, you look like an enabler. So what happens? Somebody get that response like, oh yeah, well you look like a piece of shit. You look like this with your clothes on. You a little jerk. You a little punk, bully punk. You don't know what's gonna happen. When you get older in life, people don't tolerate that shit. So I'm glad so far I've seen great behavior with her in different environments. So when she's in the schooling type of framework with her kid, with the teacher and kids, she really tries to do a good job amongst that peer group, that cohort. I like that. Because it ain't like I really care about people pleasing, but I do care about over infractions. I don't like overstepping boundaries and taking over like that. That's not right either. You have two things that you've got to guard against. One is your own personal voice, and the other is over talking up someone else's. People don't fucking pay attention to two directions. They always looking at one. I can't stand that shit. As a Sigma, I'm in the middle most of my time. I'm very little on these extremities. I don't understand black and white half the time. I do, but I don't, because I'm over here playing in the gray. obviously reality has been based on all of these paradoxes. Your feet smell. Your feet does not smell. They don't have noses on them. But you say that. You contradict. You say something paradoxical. And there's always these little weird things. Feet smell. My nose. What was something like this chick is a girl I used to date. One of my first women I used to date. She got stoned for the first time, and she started telling me all the thoughts she was having. She was writing them down. I thought that was some interesting shit to think about. It's some, but that's what herb will do sometimes. It'll make you think outside the box. She said her feet smell and her nose runs. That was the other one. She's like, that's some weird stuff. I was like, yeah, isn't it interesting? But that's how you use free speech, man. You can mess somebody up throwing a couple little colloquial phrases in there, and all of a sudden people are saying the wrong damn language. Good morning. I heard this the other day on one of these little videos. Say good morning. What's good about morning? What kind of morning are we talking about? There's only really one that I know of, and that's when somebody's passed and they died. They're no longer here in existence. So you're starting to mourn for them. What is the context? What is the real definition of this morning? Only thing, and she said, I think the only thing she's ever seen the sun do is rise. It doesn't go down. I don't know. There's a lot of phrases that we use day to day that we don't know. I've said this for 10 plus years. I always use this 10 plus years or 15 years because it's been that long since I've had this knowledge. It's interesting to see that some people are talking about it now, but it's almost comical. It's very comical to me because I can be here maybe 20 years from now, and I think there's going to be somebody else that's going to be here, like a young kid that says they found some deep psyop shit and they found out some, like, what do you think, our parents didn't come about some weird stuff like this, conspiracy information? They did the same thing. Life was a little bit more controlled then, but now it's definitely, the doors are wide open. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But in 20 years, if I still see and hear people talking about some conspiratory shit, it's going to be very interesting. Like, I'll be like, duh. So what? What changed? What's going on? What you talking about? Same thing we already know? I don't know. Guys, I think I've talked enough. I spoke a lot on this topic. 37 minutes? That should be like an hour. It's really fast talking on this, a lot of it. But anyways, hope you enjoy. Have a good time. Have a great day. Friday, super day. Have a great Friday. And you might see me back on here later on after I have some more discussions and talks. But I've had a lot of conversations. I've got great stuff going, hopefully next week, to set up for a good financial future on something else on a project. Again, I do not know the in routes of what I'm experiencing. However, I am knocking on doors. I'm going and walking and opening doors. I'm visiting them, and I'm doing all the process. We're not stopping. And if you guys have any kind of problems with trying to make the next step, use ChatGPT. Prayer. Don't forget, I talk about prayer. I believe in prayer. And ChatGPT. I hope you guys have a blessed day. If you got any questions, comments, please post them. Post them. Don't be afraid. What you afraid of? You afraid of? Is he gonna beat me up in the comments? Just be respectful. Say what your position is. I don't even. If you don't want to be respectful, I will try to give a response that deserves a diplomatic response. Okay. Have a good one. I'm out of here. I got to go. I got shit to do today.